the beginning of February, and it is time for my update on my quilting goals for 2025. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, last year I did this too, where I picked 5 goals for 2024, and I gave just about monthly updates on those goals. I'm doing the same this year with 2025. I picked 5 new goals and I'm reviewing them and telling you how I did. I also have all of the progress on my blog, so you can check that out too. So let's get started. But before we do, my name is Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance. So glad you're here, and let's go. Oh, I forgot to mention, I do have the downloadable worksheet if you want to follow along. I have one for the entire year, and I also have one just for each month, so check that out. So my first goal was the no home zone and to work on it. Now last year I worked on my cutting table. It was a dumping ground for all kinds of stuff. And I also had a problem with my no home zone, which is the corner of my sewing room that kind of gets everything shoved into it. So I thought this year was a good year to tackle it. Now I'm only giving myself a 2 out of 5 score on this because I didn't do great at it, but I have a good excuse. I have been organizing or reorganizing all of my fabric, and the no home zone has kind of been the place where things went, overflow things, in a temporary status, hopefully, as I organize the other things. Like my husband says, you have to break a few eggs to make some omelets. Well, this is me breaking some eggs. I hope to have it all cleaned up and put together by my next update. So hopefully I will be really able to work on this section of my sewing room, but for now it kind of still is cluttered, which is why I'm only giving myself a 2 out of 5. And I'll talk more about that on goal number 3, I think it is, where I talk about the scraps. I think that's goal number 3. I have my notes right here. Let me look. Yes, goal number 3. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that brings us to goal number 2, which is being intentional with my purchases, quilting purchases. And I've been great at this, so I'm giving myself a 5 out of 5 on this. One thing that falls under that category is making sure that I am consciously trying to support small businesses and staying away sort of from the bigger box stores or bigger companies. Now, there's a caveat to this because I am an affiliate with Missouri Star Quilt Company. I realize that, but I also have a lot of spending that I do other places. And I really want to be conscious about making sure I'm supporting the small businesses too. So one way I did that was I bought 2 of these layer cakes. I've already used one for an upcoming project, and I bought it off Etsy, and I went to a small company to do that. You might pay a little bit more, but for me, it was worth it. I have a video coming up on a project that I made using this, and I did buy 2, like I said, but I made the project to get the sample so I could make the video, you know, all that. So it will be coming up. I also, with the scrap organization, in goal number 3, and I know I keep talking about it, but I bought some containers, and I was really good about this because usually I am an impulse container buyer and I'm kind of a container hoarder, but I decided to really go in depth and figure out exactly what I needed. I even drew some sketches of what I wanted and how I wanted to organize my shelves and my fabric, and I found the perfect container through Target. Now, instead of going in and buying, I don't know, 18 of them, my first order was very small. I think I bought like 4, maybe 8. I think I did whatever I could get free shipping on, but they were $5 a piece. And they're these containers. I wanted to try them out before I fully committed, and I wanted to make sure I could return them if I didn't love them. I actually do love these containers, and I ended up buying more. So I was very intentional with what I purchased before I went into purchasing. So I'm very proud of myself. 5 out of 5. Yay, go Chris. Woohoo. All right, that brings us to goal number 3, which is paring down my scraps. Now I'm giving myself a 3 out of 5 in this. And the reason is because I'm not really using my scraps yet, but I am organizing my scraps. My new motto is if I don't see it, I won't use it, because I have so many scraps and I had them all over the place. So getting them all together, getting them organized, that's going to allow me to see what I have and then make some decisions on what I want to get rid of. I'm still organizing those scraps, but I am donating some as I go. Not as many as I will be once I get everything organized. 3 out of 5. It's happening though. I'm in the process and I'm loving how things are being organized and coming together. It's so great. I can't wait to share it with you, and I will share it with you in a video. Okay, goal number 4 is breaking out of my comfort zone. Now, many of you know I've been dealing with a shoulder issue since right after Christmas, and it's been a struggle, which I'll talk about in goal number 5. Because of this, I haven't been as great as I wanted to be coming into the new year. I did, however, take a wool applique class, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I took it through my guild. It turned out I hated it. So I did break out of my comfort zone and try something, and I'm glad I took it in a class. I made this little snowman, or I started to make this little snowman. This picture here is what it should look like. This was the sample in the class. And then this picture is where I ended at. I'm not going to continue making it. I'm actually giving it to a friend who loves to do this because I absolutely hated it. But I think that's part of the process, right? Learning what you love, learning what you don't love, and making sure that you're being true to yourself. So 3 out of 5 because I didn't do as much as I wanted to, mostly because of my shoulder, but still I probably could have done some other things. And I did do something. And I got to sew with some of my friends, which was so much fun. I had a great time. And that brings me to goal number 5, movement breaks, and to give you a shoulder update. So I did a lot of couch sitting last month. I did a lot of computer work because I was couch sitting. I had my trusty golden retriever, Daisy, beside me. Most of the time she's been great. I've also made sure that when I did sew, which I only started sewing again about, 2 weeks ago, but when I did sew, I was very conscientious about how long I was sewing. I used to be able to sew for hours upon hours and lose track of time. I think those days are long gone with my shoulder. So I am being more aware of how much time I'm spending at the machine. I'm also more aware of my posture. Now, for an update on my actual back, turns out that part of the problem is that I have shingles. Now, yes, I did get the vaccine, both of them, so I guess it's not as bad as it could have been. It is in the same area. The doctor seems to think it's related, if not the entire problem. So I am being treated for that. Doing well, hoping to be better. I hope next month's update will be even better than this month's update. And I am still doing exercises, getting treatment, all of that stuff along the way too. So it's been a rough start to 2025, but I'm getting there and I'm learning a lot about myself. And I'm learning to have a lot of compassion for those who have chronic pain because honestly, I never experienced it until now, and I could be compassionate about the idea of it. But until I had this debilitating pain where I was on the couch, I really understood how exhausting it is. To all of you who are dealing with it, I commend you for even getting up in the morning because it is exhausting and depressing, and it's a really tough road to have. That's just like ending this on a really terrible note, but or a down note. Anyway. Life is good, right? Everything is good. So that's it for this update for February. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I will see you real soon. Bye.